Hey y'all, two of the most popular suburbs in the North Atlanta area are actually side by side, and that's Johns Creek and Alpharetta. And one of the most common questions that I get as a real estate agent in the area is which of these two cities is better? And the answer really depends on your needs and circumstances. So today I wanted to have a video breaking these two cities down category by category to see which one is a better fit for you and your needs. Now, just a quick overview on these two cities. Both of these cities sit north of Atlanta up Georgia 400. Alpharetta is a great urban suburban blend with a vibrant downtown and lots of mixed-use developments in the area. But it also has a strong focus on families, good schools, and parks and recreation. It is seen as more entertainment and business focused than Johns Creek is, with a very strong tech presence in the area. And it's got a larger commercial footprint with tech offices and headquarters in the area than Johns Creek does. In comparison, Johns Creek feels much more residential and family-oriented than Alpharetta does. It's more laid back with more of a focus on quiet neighborhoods and top-rated schools, and it has less nightlife options with more of a focus on community events and good sporting programs. So getting right into the first category to compare these two, and that's going to be the schools. Now, don't get me wrong, both Alpharetta and Johns Creek have fantastic schools, very highly rated. In this category, though, Johns Creek is going to take the edge. Not only do they have some of the highest rated public schools in the state, like Northview High School and Johns Creek High School, but also there's a strong consistency across the board. Johns Creek has highly rated schools no matter where you look. In comparison, Alpharetta, while it still has very highly rated schools in its own right, there is a little bit more variation school to school. So in Johns Creek, where you could throw a dart on a dartboard and land in a good school district, Alpharetta, you might want to do a little bit more research on what community you're moving to and which school district that's going to fall under. Now, it's not everybody's priority to have a 10 out of 10 rated school for their kids. That can breed a lot of competition and stress for those kids as well. So know your family needs and understand if you need one of those top schools in the state, or if you're comfortable with having a good school and a more stress-free environment for your kids. Now, getting into our second category, we are going to be talking about business and development. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Alpharetta is a business, startup, and tech hub. It has a lot of headquarters in the area, as well as a lot of corporate offices, and with that comes a strong job market that is definitely a benefit for residents that choose to settle in Alpharetta. In addition to that, the development and the amenities are far ahead in Alpharetta compared to where they are in Johns Creek. You have very highly sought after amenities like downtown Alpharetta, the Avalon, which is a great mixed-use development with lots of restaurants, retail, shopping, dining, and living, as well as Halcyon. Compared to that, Johns Creek is just a little bit further behind, though they are working on it. Johns Creek is developing a town center that they hope to compare to the Avalon one day. They're calling it the Medley at Johns Creek. It's going to come with green spaces, living, shopping, dining, and all the amenities that you find in Avalon. So Johns Creek is behind right now, but there is the potential for further development in the future. There is also a strong tech and startup scene in Johns Creek, though it's not quite as developed as Alpharetta, so you can expect if you're living in Johns Creek to maybe have to travel into Alpharetta, Sandy Springs, or Atlanta for work. You might not find the same job prospects in Johns Creek that you are finding in Alpharetta. Now, for our third category, we are going to get into real estate. That is our bread and butter here at the Atlas Real Estate team. And if you are thinking of moving to either of these cities or another great Atlanta suburb, I want you to reach out to us. Our information is going to be in the description. We are happy to answer any questions or get you started on the process. So make sure you do that, and we would love to hear from you. Now, in terms of the real estate in these two different cities, the median home price in Alpharetta is going to be quite a bit lower than Johns Creek, but when you look at what that real estate entails, it's pretty clear to see why. Alpharetta has a much larger mix of the different developments and real estate in the city. It has everything from modern apartments and townhomes up to single family and even luxury homes. So there's a much greater variety in the real estate here in Alpharetta. If you're looking to get in at a cheaper price point, that's going to be more affordable in Alpharetta versus Johns Creek. The median home price encompassing all the different real estate types in Alpharetta is somewhere in the mid 700s, but it's going to be less than that if you're looking at the apartment or the townhome options compared to the single family or the multi-million-dollar luxury homes. If we look at just the single family homes over the last couple of months at the time of filming, Alpharetta is going to be a little bit more expensive than the typical single family detached home in Johns Creek. Now, that really is the bread and butter in Johns Creek. It is going to be largely single family residential, as well as the luxury homes that we're seeing in Alpharetta as well. Now, as I mentioned, it's a little bit less expensive to get into here in Johns Creek, and typically you are going to get a little more yard space in Johns Creek compared to Alpharetta. Alpharetta is a little more packed, whereas Johns Creek tends to sprawl and have a little bit more spread than Alpharetta does. In both these cities, the average detached single family home is going to be somewhere in the range of the low to mid 800,000s at the time of filming this video. Though obviously you can find homes for under and over that price. That's going to be the median over the last 3 months. else. Now, with the strong sense of development that Johns Creek is having, and with the addition of the Medley and some other projects, we are going to be seeing more apartments and townhomes come to Johns Creek in the future, but at the moment it is very single family home dominated. Now, the other part is the commute. If you are living in either of these cities and working in either of these cities, the commute isn't going to be too bad. Now, the traffic in Alpharetta and Johns Creek can get pretty congested. It'll be even a little bit worse in Johns Creek because it does lack some of the infrastructure that Alpharetta has. So know that at peak times in both of these cities, you are going to run into some traffic. Now, if you are traveling into Sandy Springs or Atlanta, then your main through point is going to be Georgia 400. Now, Alpharetta sits on Georgia 400, so it's very easy access to get into the city. Might not be as quick as you want it to be, but it is fairly simple. Because Johns Creek is next to Alpharetta, obviously the access to Georgia 400 is a little more limited, and especially if you're traveling at these peak times to go from Johns Creek to Alpharetta through the traffic, then just to get to Georgia 400, it can be a little more time intensive. So if you are somebody who's thinking about frequently traveling into the city, whether it's for work or play or travel, then Alpharetta might be a better option for you in that sense. Now, getting into the parks and the recreation, they do have a little bit of a different feel to them across these two different cities. Now, both of them are going to have a lot of the same types of parks and a lot of the same quality of parks as well. But what you are going to notice is that in Alpharetta, there's a lot more green spaces attached to development and some of those amenities that they're known for. So it's going to feel nice to have those two things side by side, even if it does feel a little manufactured and more on the urban side. As a comparison, Johns Creek, it's going to have a lot of those same types of parks and playgrounds. It's also going to have a lot more nature-focused parks and recreation, such as the Nature Preserve at Autry Mill and some of the connections it has into the Chattahoochee River. Again, they both have great parks and recreation. They both have great youth sports programs, lots of community-facing events, and tons of green space and parks and playgrounds for you and the family to get out and enjoy. But as a whole, they're going to have a little bit of a different feel to them. Another point that we do have to mention, Johns Creek is going to have a lot more golf courses in it than Alpharetta does, and some of the most prestigious private courses in the state of Georgia. So if you are an avid golfer, then Johns Creek is going to take the win on that one. And I'd have to say, as a whole, Johns Creek is going to win in the Parks and Recreation department as well. Now, the last category that we're going to look at here is the demographics. And if you've made it this far in the video, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. It'll help YouTube know that you enjoyed this type of content. You'll see more of our videos, and you'll have the advantage of being the first to know when we upload, so you can have that leg up on the real estate market here in the North Atlanta area. Now, the last category that we're going to get into is the demographics. Now, because of the strong business scene that Alpharetta does have, it does tend to lean a little more young professional. Now, keep in mind that both of these cities have a very strong family presence in them and are very family oriented. But that being said, because of the business presence that we have in Alpharetta, it is going to lean more young professional than we see in Johns Creek. As a comparison, Johns Creek is going to lean much more into that family oriented, quiet neighborhoods, top rated schools, and focuses more on that demographic. In addition, Johns Creek has a strong Asian American community, particularly a very strong Korean community. It's always fun to drive through Johns Creek and see all the Korean billboards for the businesses in the local area. But there's no winner here because in terms of demographic, they are a little bit different but have the same main focus. Now, again, if you are thinking of moving to either of these cities or any North Atlanta suburb, then feel free to reach out. We are happy to get you started on that process. But if not, feel free to click on another one of our videos so that we can break down some of the other top North Atlanta suburbs for you, and we will see y'all in the next video.